So first of all, Vaishali, a very big congratulations to you for winning, the reality show.
Thanks.
And
Thanks to you
like
and to all of you for organizing it. I mean, you did a great job.
a very warm welcome to author Vaishali Menon. And hello, guys, this is Yumnah, a member of TLV, and this is our author interview episode number 18. And Vaishali, would you like to introduce yourself and your both the books to our viewers?
Okay, yes. So hi, I'm Vaishali. I'm a writer and I've authored two books so far. So my first book is a collection of poetry called Magic in the Mug. And my very recent work is a novel. It's called Auroran Pages. And this is a part of an installment. So there are three books in the installment. This is the first part that just came out this year, earlier this
Okay. Sure. While okay, so for those who don't know, I'm a moderator in a reality show, and I've seen the whole journey of Vaishali telling us about her book and how she created such a beautiful masterpiece. So I already know a lot of things about it. So that's why I didn't ask Vaishali to tell me about her book or anything like that in her DM, because before taking interview I usually ask authors like what they want to share about their book, um, so I can make questions based on that. But I already knew so much, so I read those messages and I made questions on that. So one thing I was very curious about Vaishali is that obviously you're not a teenager right now, right? And all the interviews that I've taken till now, like two interviews, I've like those two were teenagers, right? So I want to know, if you were to write this book, okay, this or the poetry collection in your teen years, do you think it would be any different from now?
Yes, it will be very much different because I'll tell you what, this book of poetry, it was not planned. Okay, I wasn't planning on publishing a book or anything. So what happened was, it really was during my final year of college. Uh, Art usually comes forth in unexpected ways when you're going through something, right? Not necessarily bad. It can even be ecstasy, it can even be bliss, right? So, this final year of college was something that pushed me to experience a lot of things. A lot of the experiences which um, I would not have been able to feel or be through when I was a teenager. So it was, it talks, this collection of poetry talks a lot about um, getting emotionally mature, right? Or at least starting to build it. You're in this transition phase where you're starting to understand that are able to grasp perspectives on things that are happening to you, right? Different emotions, different ways to view friendship, different ways to view the people around you, and sometimes you compare your relationships with people to certain objects which can give you profound lessons. So really was, there were poems that I wrote in these moments when I felt this transition happening, which eventually got together to become a collection. And then I thought, okay, let me send it out as a book. So that's how it happened. So if I were to write this book as a teenager, I really don't think this book could have happened if I written it as a teenager. Or if I had, it would have been a different book. And I may not have been as happy with it.
Yeah. This question came in my mind because I read a study about this also, that creativity, like most of the creativity you find among younger minds, right? The more we get older, the creativity some of starts drifting away from us. So that's why I wanted to know this question. Um, Anyway,
But
uh,
one more problem that we face here. we are, when we're young, we are sort of conditioned to think a certain way, to act a certain way.
Yeah, yeah,
And as young,
exactly.
yeah, as children, we don't know enough to break out of it, right? We are a part of it. It is only, as you're growing older, you realize that when you were younger, you had something which is slowly letting go of you, which is slowly vanishing, right? And at some point, if you want to hold on to it, you sit down and you do your best to capture it, right? The writing is my way of. There are some who make music. There are some who choreograph dances. They try to capture this creativity that they feel is slowly leaving them. So I think
Yeah,
that also a major part of why I wrote that book, why I wrote those poems.
yeah. Like seeing the comments here, a lot of people don't know that you have a poetry collection. So welcome to the world. Uh, Anyway, talking about poetry, since a lot of people don't know about it, so I'll ask the next question on this. The magic of murk, if I'm not wrong, that's how it's pronounced. So I'm asking, the magic of murk. That's what the book is pronounced, right? The poetry collection book.
In the mug.
In the book, magic. Um, magic in the murk, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So I read the synopsis, and in that synopsis, you dedicated this book to dreamers, believers, and people who are wild at heart, and those who believe in magic, right? And this is something which I've never read in a poetry collection, like a synopsis like this. So, can you please tell us, like, what was going in your mind while you were creating a, like, while you were collecting poems for this, or did you like, was there in your mind, back of the mind, that you have to make a book out of this collection, or you just wrote and then you decided, oh, it's a beautiful thing, I should publish it? Like, what was the idea?
So yeah, no, like I told you, I wasn't planning on publishing. I was planning on writing a book. Okay. So they were really uh, pieces. They were like one or two poems here, a couplet here, and a piece there, a piece of prose here and there. That's what it was. And towards the end, when it all came together, they all sort of fit into a larger theme, and maybe that theme uh, is something that directly spoke to what I was going through at that time. Like I told you, right? It's that transition phase, and yeah, see, um, like I think there is this aspect of fear in us. Sometimes that fear can be good fear, right? Sometimes, like for example, like I told you, I felt like at one point of time, this I was more creative as a kid, but I did not have way to express it, or rather, I was not bold enough to express it. See, because it did not fit into a certain system. It did not fit into a certain mold. But now is the threshold when I'm breaking out of that mold. So I sort of have I have the freedom to write down certain things, and okay, so yeah, like I felt free, and I felt very unconfined. I think that's the word. So there are these certain poems, a lot of poems. I write a lot in the night, actually. I find nights to be very inspiring for some reason. So there was, a lot of poems from that collection, which is in the night. I remember I was living in a beautiful apartment. I was living by myself. There was this balcony. I would always have a chair in the balcony, and I would go out at 12 midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would just sit there. And it was a place. It was a remote place. It was away from the city, and so there was no light pollution. Okay, and when you actually go out in the night, you see so many stars. Like the stars is just the night is like like this velvety blanket that just puts itself, it just covers the earth. A lot of my poems were written from that very spot. And standing there, standing there, sitting there and writing something, a lot of the ideas that would come to me when they made me feel free. They made me feel like, okay, I'm flying. So my way to capture that. So that is why, I dedicated it to all of the people who are dreamers, who are, wild, people who dare to dream. Because, some places can be inspiring, some situations can be inspiring.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
myself was, in a situation where, even though I had all of those things, had so much to express, there was something around me that confined me, and maybe that's why I wasn't able to get all of it out. But I finally was able to. What can I do for the people who have all of these things in them? They're looking for a way to express, or they're looking for companions. So they are the wise ones.
Yeah.
That's their dedication.
I mean, I totally agree with you because the fact that you said like the most of the creativity or most of the overthinking happens in night. Like even for me, we think a lot at night. We dream a lot at night, and it's so random, especially while I'm in my teenage year. I dream so much that okay, maybe like 6 years down the lane, I'll be this, I'll be that. So it's a lot of dreaming, a lot of magical thinking happening. So that's there. That's definitely there. So it makes sense. The synopsis makes sense. And you did so well. So now people in the comments know that like she wrote a poetry collection. So please go and check it out, guys. Please definitely go and check it out. And I would also request one thing. People who are watching us, please don't ask questions right now because the chats are going fast for me. So I might miss the question. So and she also might miss it. So we won't be able to ask it. So like that's right. Okay. The third question which I'm going to throw at you is that we were talking about dreamers, right? Now, dreamers have some real good thinking, creative thinking when it comes to, thinking about their life or anything like that, okay? So, you definitely also are a dreamer. Tell me, in your dream, if you were to create a world, what would it look like?
Oh, okay. So this is a very tricky question because this is maybe even my weakness. Yeah, I've been told this a lot by my mentor. So they say that I'm stuck in this egalitarian world, right? I'm stuck in utopia where everything is perfect and everybody is nice and
Yeah.
everybody's just showing love at one another, right? Uh, that's sort of something that I've always had in my mind. Like uh, in the real world, it hardly works. Uh, but also, one more thing is to look at it in that kind of a world and everything is perfect. There are only two colors.
Hmm.
There are black and there are
That's
good people and bad people.
mm.
Right? So this really was the idea of the world. But after a lot of well, you call me a dreamer, right? So obviously I'm in the world a lot. It hardly works that way in real world. So after a lot of accusations and people telling me to, come out of my ideas, I started observing the world a little more depth. That is learning more about getting to know them and stuff. I realized that there is in the world, right? There are things we wish did not exist. The people who were sometimes we even try to choose, right? Then there is a lot of pain and suffering. Like I would wish that the suffering part is not there. I wish that people do not have to uh, go through poverty and famine and hunger. So yes, definitely, these are things that I wish. But other than that, looking at the gray of the world, right? There are no blacks and whites. We have also have certain things about ourselves we would like to change. And somehow I think that the world is perfect just as it is. There are people who do that. Somewhere I feel that something hurt us, that hurt us to grow. Right? Something
Oh, Vaishali, your voice is cracking. Like it's coming very, like it's getting up and down.
okay. Just a moment, just a moment. Okay, am I better now?
Yeah, for me, you're better. Like, okay, yeah, continue.
So, these bad things that we face in our life. But in some ways or the other, these challenges they push us to grow, right? And growth, um, experience and perspective of ourselves, which we didn't know existed. So there are these challenges in life that sort of push us to grow, right? And growing is nothing but exploring different facets of ourselves which we didn't know existed. And somehow, in the long run, these facets that we explore, they come in handy. They tend to shape and mold us into the person we are meant to become. So I think
Yep.
the world is kind of, perfect, just the way it is. Everything is as it should be. If somebody is actually hurting you, you needed that hurt at that point in time. Okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So somebody just comes into your life just to mess it up. You need it to be messed up at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I think the world is perfect just as it is, except for maybe the pain and suffering and the hunger, the famine that's happening around the world, the violence, especially. That is something I wish did not exist.
Yeah.
Because I think, when one person is affected through violence, I believe it affects collective humanity because on some level we are all connected with one another. So it would be a much better world if there was no violence, if there was no hunger and poverty and everything. But yeah, that's about it. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with what your thinking is about on this because the world is so beautiful, right? While we were in the COVID period, we saw how the air got cleaned, the environment was better. So the world is so beautiful already. It's us who is like, making it difficult for the world to be
Yes.
as it is.
Yes, very true.
Anyway, like we relate with each other, like we have so similar thinking, so I'm like shocked right now. But it's because a lot of people have similar thinkings, but it's very rare when I literally connect with people, so that's there. um Talking about a perfect word, okay? Book the Ogaria world, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, Ogaria.
Ogeria's world is so intricate and so rich while you were talking about it. Like, I was getting curious, like, every time you were talking about it, right? And even the cover is so spectacular, like, it sparks the curiosity of the reader, right? So, tell me, what was the most challenging part about creating this world for you?
Okay, so Ocaria is this fictional city that is a part of my novel. So it's called The Legend of Ocaria, the book. Um, the most challenging part. Okay, so the thing is, it's a book of fantasy fiction. So obviously there are a lot of elements of magic in. Okay, magic, not very over the top magic. It's not the wand waving kind of magic. Rather, it's magic uh, that's interwoven with our life, right? So a lot of the incidents in the book, they did have real life inspiration. Okay, I try to keep it as real as possible. But the challenging part was to actually, sometimes when something magical is happening in your life, right? Some incident is happening in your life, and you are able to feel the magic, right? If that incident it changes you, you are able to feel it. If it affects something in your personal space, you are able to notice it. But how do I make the reader go through what you are going through? How do I make the reader understand what the protagonist is feeling or facing? So how do I actually bring out these small elements of magic in these seemingly mundane events, and how do I make it just enough pronounced so that the reader is able to, feel it as they go through the story? I think that was the most challenge.
Okay.
Because when we say magic, it does exist in real life. Okay, I believe in magic. It does exist in real life, but it rarely comes with sparkles and unicorns and rainbows. That's not how it comes. It's very subtle. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere, but it's very subtle, it's very small. So, how do
Yeah.
I bring that out to the reader?
Mm.
That was
Yeah.
the most challenging.
So your purpose was to make the reader get into that magical world, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So, if that was your purpose, what was the main thing which you were focusing on? Like the plot, the characters, or the writing style? What was the main thing which you were like very much focused on? Like, this is what I have to like focus on more so that readers can get that emotion.
Okay. So the theme of the book, it is about finding a place where you belong. Okay. And I think we are all in this journey where we're trying to become our best possible self, right? We are trying to become our highest self, like fit in where we exactly belong. It's not necessarily ambitious, you know. Uh, our faith is a way of searching for where we belong, right? The faith we choose to follow, the food we choose to eat, the things we choose to do, our careers, choosing our subjects, what we want to study. We are constantly, in this search for something that speaks to our soul. And it's all a way of, finding out our place in the world. How we choose our partners. We try to pick our partners based on, how they can connect with us. Can they understand us? Can we understand them? Can we have good conversation? Do we share common interests? Right?
Yeah.
Even your search for a partner is a way of finding out your place. Do I fit with this person? So that is the larger theme of the book. And I know that, all of us are on that journey. And, sometimes we have mentors. A lot of times we are lucky to have mentors. Sometimes people, random people just enter our lives to show us a part of ourselves that will help us on this journey, and then they leave. So my book is sort of meant to be a companion for you as you go through this journey, because each of the characters in this book, they're all searching for themselves. They're all searching for that one place where they belong. Where should they go? What should they do? And what is their purpose? All of this. And it happens that all of these different characters, and I'm not just talking about the protagonist, I'm also talking about the antagonist, right? Why do people do bad things? Because they think that, doing that will make them better in some way, right?
Yeah.
Why do you steal? You think that, I like somebody who steals, right? I presume, uh,
Mm-hmm.
they think that, that one assignment would make them better. It would give them riches,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So, uh, yeah, that's really the thing. And if you are on that journey, if my book can actually give you some sort of a companionship, some sort of a solace as you go through, make you feel a little less lonely, because you know that there are so many people who are going through the same journey. And yeah, that's the purpose of my book.
True. Coming back to the questions, you said that you want to give people the sense of belonging, right? From this
Yes,
book.
yes, yes.
While I was reading your synopsis and while I was going through the comments and the like messages in the reality show, I also sense kind of brokenness with your book, you know,
Mm.
theme. So tell me, how is it like belongingness and brokenness? Both are very heavy things, very heavy feelings, right? And a lot of people go through it. Like mostly people go through it. Like that's a part of growing up, if I'm not wrong. So how did you manage to? So I asked that you were talking about belongingness in your book, and I also got a feeling of brokenness in your book from reading the synopsis and the chats you had in reality show. So tell me how you managed to write something so complicated in your book, which is so common because a lot of people, like majority of the people, go through the feeling of belongingness and brokenness once in their lifetime. So how did you manage to do that?
Okay, so I think this sense of brokenness, it is something that comes when you realize that uh, you are meant to be a different person, but the path you're traveling down, it's taking you an entirely different way. Okay? I mean, that's how it is, right? Like every person is unique. Every person has their own individual sets of skills and talents, and they're different. They're different people. Everyone's meant to be different. Uh, but what happens when you are not allowed to explore your full potential, right? Um, there's a lot of people who are stuck in jobs that they don't want to do. They tend to have this. They tend to develop this miserable feeling of life, right? And they're constantly complaining. They're unhappy, and a lot of people who are stuck in relationships they aren't meant to be in. Life just becomes hard. And the more you realize that you are in a place where you are not supposed to be, you become broken, little by little, every day. And at some point, there are some people. At some point, you realize, okay, enough is enough. Like, I think I'm actually going to go after what I'm meant to be. I'm actually going to go after what I pursue. So that's the point where we see people shifting jobs. That's the point where we see leaving relationships. That's the point where we see people embracing different faith, embracing different cultures. For some people, travel brings them that sense of fulfillment, because when you travel, you sort of expose yourself to what's beyond your confines, and you may find yourself. You may find yourself outside your confines, which means that you will have to grow for so long. You will have to break your boundaries, you will have to break your barriers, and you will have to get there.
Yep.
So I think this finding your place in the world and brokenness, at least in the initial stage, it is something that goes hand in hand for a lot of people. Because a lot of times it takes a certain, you know, it takes a little bit of exploration to get there. It takes a lot of self reflection. It takes a lot of learning. It takes a lot of growth. So it's something that goes hand in hand for a lot of people. And of course, there are some people who are lucky, right? Like who are very lucky. They know where they belong, right, from the beginning. And a lot of us as kids, we knew where we belong, because as kids, when we were babies, or when you're 4 or 5 years old, you don't have a lot of restrictions that are on you. You are not into this mold. You are not somebody who is largely conditioned. So you're just happy doing what you do. And at that point, yes, all of us do know. But there are very few people who get to keep those qualities, who get to keep those traits, who get to keep those activities with them through their life. So these are the people who do not have to go through this sense. At least largely. There are other challenges. There are professional challenges, but a brokenness that comes along with finding your purpose is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I get it. We have a question in the comments. Rishabh asked the question to you. What was the moment of realization when you felt that now I got to compile my poetries? Because I asked someone who writes poetries that um, apprehension in the start to put out my work on social media. He also asked, I was nervous to reveal my writings. Did you also feel that? And if so, how did you overcome those emotions and muster up courage to put them out there?
Okay, great question, Rishabh. Thank you so much. It's a very good question. Okay, I guess this feeling of not being good enough is something that happens in the earlier stages. It still does happen. It is supposed to happen. Like you can't always say, okay, I'm the best. I can write amazing stuff. That's not how it works. It is definitely there. But I think the solution to that feeling is also the fact that you should keep writing. As you keep writing, your first poem, it may be horrible. Your second poem, it could suck. Your third poem, you might just crumple your paper and throw it out the window. Like you don't even want to look at it again. There are a lot of pieces, which make me feel embarrassed when I look at them now. But the thing is, that's the thing, you just keep writing. A lot of times, more than talent, more than skill, it is about persistence. Right? And with every try to resolve to become better and better and better. So that really is the way to gain confidence in your abilities. And at the same time, you should remain grounded, because you can still churn out bad work. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. Everybody who does it happens. They still do churn out bad work once in a while. But you sort of develop this kind of this ability to distinguish between good work and bad work with practice. Okay, that is one thing. And at what point did I feel I'm ready to put out my work? So, like I said, I just used to write. I just used to keep writing and writing and writing, and there were there was so many poems. There were so many pieces that I'd written, and in fact, a lot of the pieces I'd written, they are not in the book. They did not make it to the book, and I just took the good ones. I just took the ones which I felt were okay. This can go in a book. And one day I was sitting and I was just going through everything I'd written. And then I realized, okay, I actually have enough quantity to, publish a collection. That was one thing. And I thought, there are these bad pieces that that won't make it to the book, and the good pieces were enough to make it into a book. And somewhere, you just feel it's intuition, it's a gut feel. You feel that can go out as a book. You just have to be in touch with yourself, with your intuition. And somewhere it'll tell you, okay, you're ready to put it out.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with you. Everything that you said. Um, okay, my question is that while you were in reality show, you said a lot of things that made me curious. Okay, and while I was reading your synopsis, also the question arises that the book of what you were talking about in reality show and the synopsis both hint at some mysteries and some secrets in the book. So
Okay, yes.
while you were writing them, were there any plot twist or anything which surprised even you?
Yes. So, I am not somebody who actually plans out my entire story before I start writing a book. Okay, so I believe that characters speak for themselves, and they take the story forward based on their decisions, their choices, their actions. And I think as a writer, I am only an okay. I am just an instrument who writes down. I just give my characters. That is all. That is all my role is as a writer. So there were definitely, events in the story which I did not see happen. Okay? And especially, I think actually connects a lot with first question. I think my protagonist, she is a teenager, and she is surrounded by a lot of who are also teenagers. So I would, expect it to be closely related. A large part of it was, but there were also things that I would not have done as a teenager, or I wouldn't expect a teenager to, be so open and vocal about. So there were those moments, and when those moments came forth, I was definitely surprised. I mean, she goes and she meets new people, and there are a lot of uh, bitter events that happen. There are a lot of pleasant events that happen, and there are a lot of things she feels very deeply. So there were things that I couldn't relate with as well. Like probably if I was a teenager, I wouldn't have been able to relate with those incidents because simply because I was a different person. But I also know other people who can relate to those events. Yes, there were definitely moments that surprised me. But I chose to carry on with it. I did not edit them out. I chose to carry on with it. In the end, it's the character's voice, right? And they fully expressive.
Definitely, characters matter. I've heard a lot of authors say that characters talk to them in their head, and it's fascinating that it's like they're like your children. Like you're not having a children, but you have a children. You created them, kind of thing. So that's very special to any author. I could definitely get it. Um, let's talk about your cover, which is so beautiful. Like everyone would agree with that. Tell me, what was the process of getting this cover? Were there any drafts which were not satisfactory for you, or did you change a lot of times the cover, or was this the cover in the back of your mind when you started writing this book?
Okay, so the cover at the back of my mind was so I wanted a host of characters. It was something very complex, to be honest. And I was paying attention to a lot, like in the composition. You know, what is the person holding in his hand? What he doing? What is he showing on the cover? Uh, but I had larger ideas. Like I wanted it to be immersive, something that incorporates elements from the story. So this was the larger idea. The cover actually has come out, and I have my publishers because they worked on the cover. I told them that I told them the larger idea. I wanted to be graphical. I wanted to incorporate elements from the story, and I sent them a draft, and they actually told me kind of complex. They felt that my larger idea was okay, but the details of it that I was sending across to them somewhere it wouldn't fit. So they actually came up with based on the element story that there is certain scenes where uh, she sort of exposes herself and uh, somehow had a way of bringing it all together. And they came up with the option. And this was the first thought. I love it. And there were like I did add a few edits. Back cover, there is actually started here. The moon is a large part of the poem that I write as well. Can't remember everything. There's a little moon here, there's a little circle. So that was, that started it tells a prophecy in the book. Something like, a circle of destiny. Right? It connects to that aspect. You have a protagonist, and then you have these things happening in the background. All is part of the story. Great.
Can't hear you, please.
Even though my initial idea wasn't it, I that rate.
Can you like your voice is breaking in between, like it's going very low in between.
Okay, hold on.
She's living in Chennai, guys, so it's like difficult for her because obviously cyclones and a lot of things are happening there, so please try to understand. What are you guys doing? It's like Sunday and what are you
Okay,
guys
I'm back.
Yep, welcome back. I can hear you now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even though my initial idea was for the cover wasn't executed, I felt like this was the best version. I'm happy that the initial idea was not executed because this is better than that. So I think my publishers they actually played a huge part in bringing the cover out, making the book bold.
Well done. It's really beautiful because it is something which sparks the curiosity of readers. So publishers did a very good job there. Let's say that the Legend of Ugaria is made into a movie. Which actress do you think would suit the character of Ira, and which actor would suit the character of Aryan?
Okay, Ira and Aryan. Alright. So Ira and Aryan are like those of you who haven't read the book, Ira and Aryan are two characters, like they're two of the main characters in the book, okay? So Ira's my protagonist. So I haven't thought of actors like that yet, but I would
But
say
just
that.
that, well, you should think about that. Like, it
Yeah,
has
I
a
should.
chance.
I should.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good thought. I mean, I would definitely love to watch it come alive as a movie. But
yeah.
when you say actors, um, for era, let me just say for era, I would actually like somebody who is uh who is a new person, like somebody who is not an established actor as she is, or even if she is, I would like for that actor to have a
Mhm.
certain sense of innocence and this quality of exploration, right? Because that's largely what era is.
Hmm.
And yeah, I would like for her to be someone who is fresh on screen. So I think that's all I have for Ira now. Aryan, I can't really think of, This is a question I will have to think about and get to you later.
Third, at night, you have a question to think about now.
Definitely, yes.
Okay. Tell me what was the reaction of your family members when you decided to publish a poetry collection or this book?
Oh, my mom was like, "You wrote a book?" I said, "Yeah." Like, "You wrote a book? Like, you wrote it?" I said, "Yeah." I wrote it. That was their reaction. And when I showed them the books and everything, they were like, "Oh, I don't think they still believe I write books. I've written two books, and one of them is a novel, and I don't
Uh,
think they still believe I can write." So,
Parents are usually like that. It's totally normal for them. Like, that's what I feel
yeah,
that how they see parents are. So,
yes,
and
yes,
it's beautiful and it's pure. So that's how they show love to us.
true,
That's there.
true, true.
Okay, last but not the least, tell me what was your experience in reality? I had to ask this. Like, that's a question. That's an important question. And since I'm the moderator also, so tell me
Yes.
something which you didn't like in the reality show and you want me to change, in next season, or you want me to anything like that, improve or something like that. And tell me, how do you feel being a part of a TLP Digital City?
Oh, I feel great to have found this community. Like, thank you so much. It was actually a fellow author who introduced me to this community. His name's Sagar Paliwal. So,
Oh,
yeah, Mr. Sagar, he actually introduced me to this community. And I'm so glad I'm in here because honestly, it is so hard to, um, you know, find and gather a group of book lovers, right? Just to gather a bunch of readers is actually kind of hard from, where we are. But
yep.
to actually create a platform where these readers can interact with authors about their books and not just about the books, about what goes on behind the scenes. It is great. And on top of that, organizing these competitions, right? Like this reality show and debates and uh,
Hmm.
it's wonderful. So I feel amazing to be a part of this, and I'm so thankful that I came across this community. So that's about how I feel being a part of this community. About the reality show, I think it was great. I think it was great getting to interact with so many fellow authors as well. I mean, in the beginning there was Jaya and there was Alok Singh, and there was Smithal and and in the final round, right? My competitor, yeah. Uh, so yeah, she wrote the book The Empress of Indraprastha. It was impressive. It was impressive, because a lot of times, see, writing is a very solitary activity. When you're writing
Hmm.
a book, you are alone most of the time. You are alone with your own thoughts, your own characters, all the people you have to speak with are your own characters. At some point of time, everybody around you, they think you're going crazy because you're just sitting in this room and ha. I mean, you see your characters come alive in front of your desk and they're like telling you things and they're talking things. It's like it's like you're channeling a spirit that doesn't even exist. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And people think you're going crazy. My mom, she lost it. She was like, "Oh my God, this girl's going mad." She's on the phone with my relatives, and she's like, "This girl's going mad. I'm not able to bring her out of the room. Like, do something. Call her out." So it's a very solitary activity. And by the end of it, when you actually get the chance to present your book, and your book comes out, your mind is completely occupied with just the things you've been through that whole year, right? The things to do with your book. But when you get to know other people who have been on the same journey as you, and they talk about the depth they have been through, you realize, okay, wow, uh, it's a lot more deeper. There are actually other characters just like mine, other books just like mine. And it was great. It was a great learning experience for me. And thanks to you guys, Yumi, you did a great job moderating the events. It was, it's not at all easy, like having four authors there who are just going all out at one another and moderating them and, keeping
No,
everybody.
I was kind of expecting you guys to be like more criticize each other more in a very healthy way, but you all were like so bubbly and so lovely each other.
Sweet.
So it was easy.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
I mean, there is only so much you can do, right? Because in the end, you respect the other person's creative process because it's the
exactly.
process that you have been through as well. So you know how hard it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely.
you respect the other person's creative process, and you've got so much to learn from the other people as well, the other authors as well. So
Yeah,
that line was always there, but there was also this a fact that it is a competition, and you've got to criticize the other person's work and you've got to go in a little bit. So I felt that balance. There were moments when I felt like, oh wow, she's done an amazing job. So I really have to appreciate her. But there were also times, where I had to prove, no, like, my book here, it does a better job at. So I think I'll have to put this out. So
yeah, definitely.
it was a great experience and thanks to you guys, really.
And also seeing you guys, right? There are authors out there who still have a self-doubt about their books. So seeing you
Mm.
guys, they might also get confidence, to talk about their book and a lot of things that they
Mm.
want to share. They are confident about it, but somewhere they didn't get the exposure to be that
Mm.
confident about something that they have
Yes,
written,
yes,
right?
yes.
So, okay, before I start asking you the questions that are in the comments, I want to do a quick
Mm.
rapid fire, if that's fine with you.
Okay. A
Cool.
quick what? I'm sorry. A quick.
Rapid fire.
Oh, great. Okay, okay.
Okay. Um, do you prefer a very disciplined place or a very cozy place while writing?
No, not really. I can write anywhere and everywhere.
Okay, cool.
I just don't
Moving.
want people coming and disturbing me, but like talking things like constantly, come get your coffee, come wash this, get this. That is the only thing I don't like. But other than that, I just want to be left alone. I can write anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I'm writing it right now. I would forget that plot twist. I just let me write it.
Exactly. That's what it.
Yeah. Okay. Movie or books?
Books.
Yeah. Something we don't know about you. Like literally don't know about you.
Thing you don't know about me. uh, oh my god, this is a very tricky question. How can I reveal things on Instagram? Right. Okay. Okay. There are a lot of things. Well, I don't know what to say to this. I probably crossed the rapid fire time limit. No, so maybe we should move on to the next question.
Okay. If you weren't an author, what would you be?
If I wasn't an author, I would be a musician. I mean, I still am, but
Oh,
probably, yeah, I am a guitarist and I sing. Well, I'm a singer-songwriter, and
wow.
music is something that's, I mean, music is something that has been with me through my life. Okay, like music and writing to me, they're forms of self-expression that kind of go hand in hand. So I've never really been able to separate the two, and it's something that has been with me through my life, like through the ups and downs and everything. But as of now, my music projects, they're there at the back burner. But I will slowly start bringing them to the front because it's also something that I feel people I want to share with people. But if I wasn't a writer, then probably I would have had uh, more time and energy to dedicate towards music. That's what I feel.
Well, we also got an answer to our previous question that something we don't know about you. Well, it's like we didn't know,
Ah.
right? Get to know.
Yes, 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 yes.
Um.
Right.
Okay. Do you prefer writing in silence or something in the background, like a music or something like that?
They both help, to be honest. Sometimes I need silence, like in the middle of the night. I work a lot in the night. So in the nights, I do prefer silence. Uh, but sometimes I think music does bring out the best a piece has to offer. And when I'm writing, I don't listen to music with words. I listen to I listen to Western classical music a lot when I'm writing because I feel like Western classical music, like I'm talking about Beethoven and Bach and Mozart. Like they all have they have different moods to them, and they have a way of music has a way of triggering certain parts of your brain. So some pieces they need that. Some pieces they need that. And when I'm in a very emotional space, when I really want to feel something, I listen to Indian music because I think Indian music is soulful. I have a way of categorizing things. It may not be the same for everybody, but to me, it's like Indian music for the soul, Western music for the mind. That's how I categorize it, at least while I'm working. So yeah.
Cool. Do you have any pet peeve while writing? Should I?
I can't
Do you
think of anything.
You can't think of. Okay, cool. Fiction or non-fiction?
They are both necessary to a certain extent, but I'm going to be biased towards fiction because I write fiction.
Yeah, cool. Because it's a go-to thing. Whenever you are sad,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are suddenly into a different world, which is not like yours. So,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
I'm done. What's pet peeve? Pet peeve is something which you don't like, which you literally hate. Okay. Yep. A lot of people have asked you to sing. If you're comfortable with that, would you like to sing?
Not for now. Soon.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
watching my face. Yes,
Guys, she also
I'm sorry to disappoint, guys.
no, she also has to leave today, so she might have to pack a
Yeah,
lot of.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm traveling, guys. For those of you, I mean, I'm telling it out. I'm traveling to a new city today. I'm just gonna go there. I got some work there. So I'm gonna finish that, then I'm gonna be back in Chennai. And
Cool.
well, I'm just letting out a little bit of my personal plans here, my personal life. I'm planning to relocate to a new city this new year. So
Oh, come on.
this is like, yes, thanks. So this is kind of, it's a very important part of my life right now. Like I'm at this threshold.
very hectic right now for you. I can understand. Oh my God. Like shifting your
Yeah.
house is
So
so difficult. For in local areas, you are shifting to a different city. My God.
yeah, shifting to a different city. So there's a lot happening. Kind of.
Yeah, yeah. I can understand. Definitely. We have some questions here if you are like available, if you have time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rishabh asked, I'll just see. Huh. Rishabh asked, what are some of the key things that you notice in your daily surroundings which act as an encouragement and inspiration for you to write more? Are there any
Hmm.
constant things which encourage you?
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Definitely. So let me tell you. I initially started writing. With small pieces here and there. There'd be a competition and I would take part in it, and there'd be there would be an offer to get published in a magazine. I'd be like, okay, let me send in my piece, let me see how it goes, and eventually my piece, if it gets selected and it gets printed in the magazine, and that actually led to more and more opportunities, right? So at one point of time, this was before college, right, during my final years of schooling before college, I used to write a blog. So I used to write articles and I used to keep posting them on my blog. Not necessarily, with an aim or something, but it's just that it made me feel good and I felt like, I wanted to share certain things with people. So I would just post them on my blog. And I remember once, this was a completely new setting, right? So in college, uh, there was a senior, and this person was somebody who I really looked up to for his work, right? And he was amazing at what he does. So uh, uh, there was this water dispenser where we actually go and fill up our water bottle. So I was there waiting to fill up my water bottle, and this senior, he was there. So he was just drinking. He was having his cup of water, and then he looked at me and he was like, "You are Vaishali, right?" I said, yeah, yeah. And
Huh.
he was like, oh, you're the one who has that blog, right? And I'm like, yeah, I do have a blog. And I was like, you read it? And he was like, oh, I read your blog. I constantly read your blog and I love what you write. Okay, like every time you post something, I'm going there to read it. And I love what you write. You should keep doing that. So this was actually one of the first encounters in a new place where somebody who I wasn't even much acquainted with, and they recognized my work from somewhere, I don't know where, but it turns out they read my blog and told me you should keep doing it. So there are these encounters, right, where people actually come to you and they tell you, you're doing a great job and you should keep writing. I connect a lot with your writing. So in the beginning, during college, they were all like, scattered. Like, I would get one recognition from here and somebody would tell me, oh, you're doing a good job there. And there were definitely criticisms also, and you should take them with an open heart in mind. So that was also there. And recently, after I published 2 books, I mean, there are a lot of people talking about my book. There are a lot of people talking about the story. And even, 2 days ago, I had somebody, a friend who had bought my book. Like, she came to me with my book and she said, hey, can you sign this for me? I was like, oh, wow, okay, nice. Like, I was least expecting you to carry my book around and, I'm seeing you here. A completely unrelated setting, but you're here with my book, you're asking me to sign it for you. So I signed it for her. So these small things, they're like small trophies. And I think these are events that you should hold close to your heart because they will provide you the encouragement that you need. Because one day you might not feel like it, okay? You might feel like, you know what, I'm just gonna give up. I don't know why I'm writing. I don't know why I'm singing. I don't know why I'm doing all of these things. On those days when you actually look back at these small trophies that you collected throughout, they will give you the necessary push. They will give you the encouragement. They will give you all the encouragement you need, and they will give you that sense of purpose on why you need to continue doing what you do. So that's
Mhm.
fine.
Well done. Very well. He also asked, do you think of how your writing might change 5, 10 years down the line? And if so,
Mm.
what would be some of the changes?
Yes, definitely. My writing will change because I feel like my writing, see, it's a form of self-expression, right? So I, as a person, I'm constantly evolving. Probably even 2 days back, I had a different idea about something, and now I have a different idea about something. So
Hmm.
as I am evolving, my writing will also evolve. In fact, writing is very different between my first book, the book of poetry, and my novel. They're completely different. I wrote them, but I wrote them at that point in time, right, where I was going through certain things. And 5 years, 10 years down the line, yes, there will be huge differences. And how will they be different? I think my writing is getting more and more mature with time. I'm able to see different things. I'm able to grasp different perspectives. I'm able to understand people at different layers of emotional depth. So I think 5 years or 10 years down the line, my writing could be a lot more mature. It could be a lot more deeper, and that's a welcome change. I think it's the point where I want to get to.
Yep, that's great. A lot of people have said a lot of good things about you. Do you want me to read them?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So Enoch Wizard, which is Aman, he's my brother. He said that damn, Chopin, Mozart, Mozart, if I'm
Mm.
pronouncing it right. And
Yes, yes,
I don't know
yes,
why
yes, yes.
it shocked me. He said that. Um, then we have Diksha, who said, "We are waiting for your beautiful voice, ma'am. But as you can know, she can't sing right now. Maybe next time." Another Diksha Rawat said, "Wow, happy and safe journey." Diksha
Thank
said,
you.
Diksha Rawat said, "Wow, congratulations and all the best for your shifting, I
Thank
guess."
you. Thank you so much.
Okay, Sonal asked, "Did that ontology experience change your writing style anyhow?"
I'm sorry. What experience? I did not get it.
Anthology experience. She might be talking
Ah,
about.
okay. The poetry. Um, there were definitely learnings. I can say that. So yes, I did. Learn a lot of things about writing and compiling things. Yes, my idea of writing before I wrote the book and after I wrote the book were completely different. So yeah, I mean, everything changes you, right? Everything sort of evolves you. Everything brings about certain desirable changes in your art, in your craft. So yes, there was definitely evolution. I wouldn't call it a change. I would call it evolution.
Yep. She also said that Sonal said, "So inspiring and motivating you are for me."
Thanks.
Diksha Rawat said, "Yes, all these small encourages are the best," which you shared us about the senior of your
Yeah,
senior,
yeah, yeah.
right? Um, Rishabh said, "Thank you for answering." Then Sonal has another question. She said, "If you could, would you want to change your old work, like edit it according to your current work style?"
Hmm. Um, no, I wouldn't. Because I feel like that book I wrote at that point of time was true to its essence. It was supposed to come out at that point in time about the things I was dealing with back then. And it has its own set of audience. If I would edit it, it would be as if I'm altering the soul of the work. So that's something I wouldn't want to do. So even though my writing style now is a lot different than it used to be, the soul of that work exists in it as it is. So I wouldn't want to take away anything from that.
Cool. Okay, guys, last question because she literally, I guess she literally needs to go. She has back a lot of things to do. Last question we'll take of Rishabh. What was the one key criticism which you might have been called out for, which inspired you to do achieve more.
Okay. It's not really a criticism from the outside. I would say it is self-criticism. Um, so I told you in the beginning about fear being good sometimes, right? Like fear is largely a bad thing. Like, I don't think you should have fear attached with anything you do. But sometimes it can be a trigger. Like, for example, I've always wanted to write a book, okay, like in my head from when I was a kid. So what I used to do when I was a kid was I used to write these short stories on pages. Like I used to have these papers on which I used to write them on, and then I would put them together and I would staple them and I would call it a book. And on the cover, I would draw something, like the flower. A lot of times there were flowers and trees and there'd be one girl standing. So this was like a constant cover. So I would staple these things and I would say I wrote a book and everything. This was there when I was a kid. But I think, eventually down the line, we lose that part of ourselves. That largely happened with me. I lost this creative aspect, or rather, it was dormant inside, and I didn't have you know, the push to go after it. I thought it was just a childish thing that I did. But it was really during college that it started resurfacing. So somewhere during college, I was like, okay, there was this one thing I used to do which brought me alive like nothing else, and I don't do it anymore. And all of a sudden, I'm looking back and I'm counting the years, and it's been a long time. I mean, time can just go like that, right? The blink of an eye, and it's over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah. And I was like, there was this thing that brought me so alive. It made me feel everything, and I don't do it anymore. And it's been so many years, and I'm an adult now. I'm almost an adult now, and like I started feeling scared. I'm like, what if one fine day, like another blink of an eye, and another 30 years, 40 years, and by the end of my life, would I have really done the things that spoke to me? Would I have really done the things that mattered to me? So it was this fear
Mm.
that, that was in me that pushed me to compile that book and, put it out. So it's not really criticism from the outside, rather it was something from the inside, is what I would say.
That's great. Sonal said she might have more questions to ask you. She can ask you in DM, or when her season is going to start, like when her review circle is going to start in February, Sonal is going to be there. She can ask you as many questions as she wants to ask you, right? Um, Rishabh said, sorry for spamming with you so many questions. I don't have anything else to do. Please,
Your questions were great, Rishabh.
he is recovering from, slip disc. I don't even know how
Oh,
to. Yes, yeah, so
okay,
he's
okay,
going
okay.
to.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Rishabh. I hope you're well. Like,
It's fine.
keep me updated on
He's just
your
resting all day on his bed. He's not allowed to get out of his
Okay,
bed.
okay.
Um, and he said me to. I would type down cars information in my Word and punch
Call it
them
a
in all the
car magazine. Yeah. I think that's where it begins, It's a good beginning.
Yeah, yeah. It has to begin somewhere. Cool.
Yeah.
Sonal is asking, did you say February? Yeah, it's starting in February, Vaishali's review circle. So if you didn't know, Vaishali, your review circle is starting in February. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
after the review, so after the session of Sonali Rahe, author Sonali Rahe ends. Okay. So then you
Yes,
will
done.
good.
Done.
Congratulations once again for winning.
Thank you. You are so sweet, and oh my God, you were the best moderator. And my big, big, big thanks to all the bookstagrammers. Oh my God, you guys,
They,
like hats off. I don't
yep,
think
they
I
are.
could have done what you did. Okay, like you guys did a great job. And thanks to Sharit sir for coming up with this concept and bringing it to life. This is great. Like I love being with you guys and I love interacting with your bookstagrammers and readers. It's great. Thanks a ton, guys.
And we also said thanks. And okay, thank you, Vaishali, for giving us your time. Like, while you have so much to do, thanks a lot for giving us your time. And I hope I could take a better interview of yours. And I hope you didn't get bored while I was taking
Not
your
at
interview.
all. Not at all. Oh, you mean your questions were so thought out? They were beautiful. Like they were deep questions. I mean, I've been to a couple of interviews, and I don't think anybody has asked me the kind of questions you asked me today. So I think you're a very deep person, and you are an author yourself, right?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
great.
we
Thanks
have.
a ton. Thanks a ton. I had great fun.
Thank you, thank you. It means a lot to me. Thanks a lot. Okay, then
All
I'll end
right.
the show.
Okay. Definitely. Bye, guys. Bye.
Take care and best of luck for the moving out in different city.
Thanks
Take
a
care.
ton. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.